Hi everybody, I'm Kaushalya Amarasekare, Assistant Professor of Entomology at Tennessee State University. I'm also a statewide extension specialist in entomology in our TSU Cooperative Extension Program. In next few minutes, I'm going to talk about two exotic invasive pest species to Tennessee that affect our soybeans and other crops. These two pest species are brown marmorated stink bug and kudzu bug. They are particularly important for soybeans. Let's see why soybeans are so important. Soybeans are considered as one of the most important row crops for Tennessee because in 2019 and previous years, soybean was considered as or ranked number one for cash receipts for row crops. And when you consider the total production, Tennessee ranks 17 out of 31 soybean producing US states. We grew approximately 1.4 million acres in 2019 for a total production of 64.4 million bushels. This was approximately 2% of US production. And value of this production is $583 million. This map of Tennessee shows soybean growing areas in Tennessee. Most of our soybeans are grown in West Tennessee, and then moderate acreage is grown in Middle Tennessee and less acreage in East Tennessee. But overall, we grow soybean throughout the state. I want to discuss a little bit about these two exotic invasive pests of soybeans, the brown marmorated stink bug and kudzu bug. Brown marmorated stink bug is of Asian origin. It is native to China, Japan, Taiwan, and Korea. This species was first detected in the US in Pennsylvania in 1998. It devastated many cropping systems in that state. Later, it started to spread to other states in eastern and southeastern US. In 2008, brown marmorated stink bug was found in western US, in California, Oregon, and Washington. In Tennessee, we first found this species in Knox County in East Tennessee in 2008, and then later it spread to other areas in the state very quickly. Brown marmorated stink bug is a polyphagous species. It has a wide host range of fruits, vegetables, and field crops. Some of the fruits it can damage are pears, apples, and grapes. And it attacks vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, green beans, and okra. And it also attacks field crops such as soybeans and corn. The interesting thing about this species is because it is polyphagous, if it cannot find one particular host, it has many other hosts to survive. This slide shows brown marmorated stink bug damage to soybeans. Some of the seeds can start early germination due to feeding, and also seeds are the pods are started to discolor. And also when you open the pods, you can see missing seeds, small seeds, or shriveled or discolored seeds. This slide shows the brown marmorated stink bug distribution in the US in 2020. Here you can see Tennessee is in red color. That means severe agricultural and nuisance problems are reported in the state. Now I will give a little bit of introduction about Kudzu bug. Kudzu bug is also of Asian origin. It's found in Eastern Asia and India. And this is a pest of kudzu, the weed, and also soybeans. In the US, this species was first found in Georgia in 2009. and then it rapidly spread to other states. In 2011, it was found in Alabama, North Carolina, and South Carolina. In Tennessee, we first found Kudzu bug in East Tennessee in 2012, and it's quickly spread to other areas in the state. This slide shows the Kudzu bug damage to soybeans. You can see they can congregate on stems, and then they are in large numbers. In the second middle top photo showing that how many of them are on the ground after insecticide treatment. They can also damage the stems, and in severe infestation they can kill the plants. And the bottom photo showing the yellowing and dying plants. Considering all these factors, we have conducted 2-year field study to find the seasonal abundance of brown marmorated stink bug and Kudzu bug using lures and sweep sampling. We had several questions that we wanted to find answers, such as when do they initially appear in the field? When is the peak population? With that in mind, we conducted 2 studies in Nashville and Ashland City in Tennessee. This slide shows Kudzu bug distribution in the US in 2020. If you look at Tennessee, you can see Kudzu bug has been found in many counties in the state. In addition to being agricultural pests, both the brown marmorated stink bug and Kudzu bug are considered as nuisance pests. They do home invasions. Both species congregate on buildings during winter time. We conducted this study in 2016 and 2017 in 2 study sites or locations in Tennessee. Our first site was in Nashville in Davidson County. We conducted this in 2016 and 2017 at our TSU Agriculture Research and Extension Center. And our other location was in Ashland City in Cheatham County. We conducted this study in 2016, also at our TSU Agriculture Research and Extension Center in Ashland City. So we grew almost 1 acre plots of soybean in both locations, and then we divided each plot into 4 blocks to randomize our treatments. When plants were about 5 weeks old, we started our treatments. We use 2 methods to monitor brown marmorated stink bug. First we use traps with lures, and then the second method was sweep sampling. Now I will talk a little bit about how we use traps and lures to monitor brown marmorated stink bug in the field. We use dead-end pyramid traps for this section of the study. These are commercially available traps. We use 1 trap per each block. So we had 4 blocks, so we use 4 traps per each study location. These traps are placed along the outside border of the plot because brown marmorated stink bug is generally coming from outside to the cropping system. So our purpose was to trap them when they try to enter to the plot. And we used several lures. In 2016, we used 1 lure called Dead-in Combo Extra Lure. These are also commercially available to purchase. In 2017, we used 2 lures. First one was Dead-in Combo Extra Lure, and the second one was called Hull Lure. And these lures were placed inside the container on the top of the trap. And we also put insecticide strip to kill the bugs collected inside the container. And every week we collected the trapped bugs and took them to the lab and identified the brown marmorated stink bug. The lures we replace them every month, once a month. This is the second method we use to monitor brown marmorated stink bug. We use sweep sampling. We use two types of sweep sampling on a weekly basis. First, we use border sweep sampling of 25 sweeps, and then center sweep sampling of 25 sweeps. We use a sweep net to conduct these sweeps. And border sweep sampling was taken along the outside border, closer to outside border, and the center sweep sampling was done on the middle of the plot. So here our aim is that when they enter to the field from outside, we could catch them, and also if they disperse to the center, then we can catch them as well. Now I will talk a little bit about the methods we use to monitor kudzu bug using sweep samples. So this is how we did the kudzu bug monitoring. We did sweep sampling on weekly basis, border sweep sampling 25 sweeps, center sweep sampling 25 sweeps. We used the same sweep sampling we did for brown marmorated stink bug monitoring to collect kudzu bug. The samples were taken to the lab and identify the kudzu bug. Now I will discuss about the results starting from brown marmorated stink bug. This slide shows the results for mean number of brown marmorated stink bug per lure trapped per week in Nashville and in Ashland City in 2016. X-axis is the date and Y-axis is mean number of brown marmorated stink bug per trap. They started to appear in mid-July. The population was low, and then the population gradually increased in August, and the peak was reached in mid-September. And then they started to decline in the latter part of September to October. Overall, we had a very low population of brown marmorated stink bug in both Nashville and in Ashland City. This is the results for mean number of brown marmorated stink bug per trap per week in Nashville in 2017. In 2017, we used two lures, Combo Extra and Hull lure. And here also the population was very low for both lures. They started to appear in July and then gradually increased the population in August, and then the peak was reached around mid-September, and then the population started to decline. Out of the two lures, Hull lure trapped more brown marmorated stink bug than Combo Extra lure. But overall the population was very low for both lures. These are the results for brown marmorated stink bug in border and center sweep sampling in 2016. The first graph showing the results for Ashland City. We see for both the border and center sweep sampling a low number of brown marmorated stink bug. Border sweep sampling had little more population than the center sweep sampling. They started to appear in July, and then population gradually increased in August, and then the peak was reached around mid-September. The second graph shows the results for Nashville in 2016 for both the border and center sweep sampling. Here also For both sampling methods, we saw low population of brown marmorated stink bug. They started to appear in July, and then in August the population gradually increased, and then by September the peaks were reached. This is the results for border and center sweep sampling in Nashville in 2017. For both sampling methods, we saw very low population of brown marmorated stink bug. They started to appear in July, and the population was consistently low till October. Now I will discuss the results for Kudzu bug. Now I will discuss the results for Kudzu bug in border and center sweep sampling in 2016. First I will talk about the first graph, that is for Ashland City in 2016. For both border and center sweep sampling, we saw low number of Kudzu bug throughout the season. They started in mid-July, and then the population was low till end of the study in October. For the Nashville in 2016, we saw little more population than in Ashland City, but still overall population was low. We saw them coming in July, middle of July, and then population was increasing a little bit in early August, and then again in early to mid September. This graph shows the results for Kudzu bug collected from border and center sweep sampling in Nashville in 2017. For both sampling method, we saw a very low population of Kudzu bug, lower than what we have seen in 2016. With that, I like to summarize the study. We saw low abundance of brown marmorated stink bug throughout the growing season, and they started to appear in July, and the peak population were around mid-September, and the population started to decline in October. This low population abundance of brown marmorated stink bug could be due to environmental conditions such as high summer temperatures. The summary for Kudzu bug, we also saw a low abundance of Kudzu bug similar to brown marmorated stink bug throughout the growing season. They also started to appear in July, and then reached the peak population around early August, and also from in mid-September. Their population started to decline in October. The low abundance of Kudzu bug could be due to the naturally existing fungal pathogen Berveria bassiana. At the time of these studies in 2016, we had high population of Kudzu bug, but then within the time of our completing our studies, we saw the population declining. With that, I like to acknowledge Richard Link for field study setup and data collection, and then TSU for providing facilities, and the farm managers and supporting staff at both research centers in Nashville and Ashland City for their support to conduct these experiments, and then the USDA NIFA for funding. Thank you for your attention.